Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis back at it. Here we go, Sunday night, 10:46 p.m. So, a few things here as we get into things. Obviously, I'm back home. That's the background with the fan that is turned off and sort of just your white ceiling, white walls, white doors. Yes, I didn't work this weekend. I was away. Kind of weird coming home this afternoon and not being at work on a Sunday, but we're back at it tomorrow. But this is Astros Recap, and this is David Artis, and we're back at it here another week. See if I can adjust this briefly here, make this a little better. Excuse me for the little shaky screen there, but all right. Yeah, not good times for the Astros this week. So the week actually got off to a pretty decent start. I mean, they took 2-3 in Miami. After losing the opener on Monday, they were able to bounce back and win Tuesday and Wednesday. So, we were a little better. The lighting's a little bright there, so. All right, yeah. So, but to be able to bounce back after losing the first game, that was very good. Framber Valdez pitched Monday. He wasn't terrible, but he got bit with a few late home runs there in the 8th inning, I believe, back-to-back shots, which made the line look worse. But again, he wasn't very good. I mean, he gave up 4 runs. So, yeah. And then, we were falling back even in Tuesday's game. The Astros were able to, get the win, but they were down 3-0 early. Things weren't looking good, and it was just, not going well. But we got things together. Able to score 2 in the fourth, 2 in the 5th. Single runs in the 6th and 7th, and we won the game there. Hunter Brown was, I don't know, let's see. He got the win, at least, I guess. That's good, but let's see his line. Actually, hold on. Forget. Hunter Brown was moved to the bullpen, so Javier, who got the start here, was not good. He didn't get through 5. He gave up 5 hits, 400. This is a story. It's a story with a lot of the pitchers these days. It's Javier and Valdez, who are supposed to be sort of your 2 best starters, your 1-2 punch, and they both just stink right now. They don't even give you quality starts or go out there and give you length. They all just, Valdez will give you some length, but just because he gives you length doesn't mean he's pitching well. He pitched 7 2/3 on Monday in a losing effort, giving up 4 runs, but the starting pitching has just been awful lately. And, Verlander gets a start in Wednesday's game. He's no good either, but the offense bails him out of a terrible start. Verlander was good the first 2 games as an Astro this year, but the one on Wednesday was not a great start, but he actually gutted through 5 innings just to get the win. Didn't deserve to get the win. Might have lost you there for a second. Yeah, didn't deserve to get the win, but he got it. But as I look at the box score here, give me a second. Sorry. 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Gets the win. Not a great performance. Bullpen did good. Very good. So look, I'm not really concerned with the bullpen these days. It's really the starting pitching, and it's just flip a coin. Hopefully they don't implode or just completely screw things up, or the offense doesn't show up. That's usually... the Astros are probably the most inconsistent team in baseball this year. That's how bad they've been. But you still win 2 of 3, so you can walk out of that series. You did what you needed to do, which was win 2 of 3. Now this weekend, and we're going to get into this here. Now, I didn't get to see every game. In fact, I saw like a good portion of today's game. But basically, Friday I was sort of coming in and out. I watched a little at dinner. I watched a little at the bar club at night, a little dance club. But I didn't really see it from start to finish. Saturday's game, I listened to it on the radio, and then as it got out of hand, I just sort of gave up. Today, the game was on Peacock, so I didn't get that. I did get to see a little bit of it, though. But even watching it, I had to watch it sort of on my computer, so it wasn't super delayed. So in fact, I had to turn off my notifications because things would have ruined things for me if I didn't turn them off, and that actually reminds me to turn them back on now. But, it wasn't a good weekend in terms of watching Astros baseball, but you didn't miss anything good because they got absolutely just beat down. They were terrible this weekend. I mean, this is a team they've struggled against all year. I know I'm not looking at the mic right. I'm trying to get this thing figured out, and it just seems like it's always... See here. Notification account settings. Notifications. All right, back on. We're good. All right. Yeah. But it was a beatdown. I mean, today's game was close. Friday's game was close. But, I mean, you don't win, you know? So, yeah, they have not played. I want to get you the record. The Mariners are a team last year. It's kind of interesting. So the Astros have played the Mariners pretty well since moving to the AL now, the AL West, that is. Now, in 13, obviously, the Astros lost 111 games, so I'm imagining that year they weren't good against them. They actually lost a season series against them back in 2018. Don't quite remember that. That was back when you played your division opponents 19 times. That only changed this year. But the Astros were 12-7 against them last year. They also swept them in the playoffs, and they really put the Mariners back in their place a few times, actually, if you think about it, because the you keep getting these teams confused. The Mariners last year, kind of interesting the way that season worked out, just based on my memory here, but they were 6-6 in their first 12 meetings. The Mariners won 3 of those 4 series. The one they lost, we swept them. So they won 2 of 3, 2 of 3, 2 of 3, and then one in the middle there, the Astros were 3-0. Swept them, 3-0. So 6-6. This is going into the All-Star break. Now coming out of the All-Star break, Astros had a doubleheader against the Yankees, which they swept. And then they went on the road to Seattle. Coming out of the All-Star break, this was the weekend series. Mariners went into the break winning 14 in a row. Astros went in there, entered their home ballpark, swept them in a 3-game set. They also took 3 of 4 later in the year at home. Then they swept them in the playoffs. So the Astros had their way for the most part with the Mariners last year, but this year things have basically flipped. I have to go to the calendar. I should have done this work before, but I usually don't prep for these things. I just get on and we go. But I'm going to check this clearly, so bear with me as I look. Did not play them in April. Played them early May, in which they lost 2 of 3 in Seattle, winning the opener, losing the next 2. No more in May there as I look. In June, let's see, they didn't play them in June, July. They played them going into the All-Star break at home, losing 3 of 4, so you're 2-5 there. 2-5, wow. 2-5, so they're 2-8. That sounds right. Astros are 2-8 this year against the Mariners. That's pretty bad. And they still got 3 more remaining with them. That will be in probably September. Yes, the second to last series of the year, they'll play them in Seattle. That could be a very important series. I look at the September schedule. Now, they still got, another week and a half of baseball here in August, and they need to pull themselves together here. They don't have days off either. I mean, their next day off is the 31st. I mean, they got a 7-day full week. You got Boston 7 times in the next 10 games before you get your off day. It'll be interesting. It will be very, very interesting here to look at this and how this plays out. So, anyway, yeah. But they were just completely Friday shut out. I don't even think they really threatened. But it's not like they didn't even face Luis Castillo, who's apparently their best pitcher. But somebody by the name, let's see this here. No, this is actually the guy, hold on. Bryce Miller. He's their young player they like. He's shut down the Astros in the past. But Bryce Miller shut them down. Friday. I didn't score. Gave up 2 hits. They got 2 hits off of Andres Munoz. Andres Munoz. He's sort of their closer, not really. I guess he is. They get a lot of saves for him this year, I want to say. But look at these stats here. Just trying to get... I don't know. He's their closer. He didn't pitch today, but that was only his 7th save. And yeah, Yander Diaz grounded into a double play to finish that game out. I did see that. I did see the very end of that game up in the club. Anyway, yeah. Saturday was just... you got absolutely... it wasn't even a game, really. You gave up 10 runs. And this was a Valdez, another terrible, awful start. Valdez has just been terrible. But the ERA's not awful. 3.55. I mean, you usually take that from most of your starters, but Valdez had an ERA at 2.50. Now, he had the no-hitter, obviously. He wasn't terrible against the Marlins. But overall, he's been a bad pitcher, let's just be honest. Since the All-Star break, he's not even an option in the rotation. I'd pick a lot of guys over, like, if the Astros make the playoffs, we have to start saying if, because it is a big if at this point. If he makes the playoff, like, roster, which he will. I mean, there's so many guys I'd pick over him. Hunter Brown stunk up the joint today. I'd still probably pick him over Farnce. J.P. Farnce is their best pitcher. He would be my game 1 starter. Verlander is better than Farnce. I mean, you just... I can't think of any starter right now that's pitching worse than Farnce or Valdez. Javier's in that category. Like, the guys going into the season that were 1 and 2, Farnce and Christian Javier, are like flip. They're not your 4th and 5th best guys at this point. That's how I feel. So, crazy how things changed. But, I was talking to you last Sunday, and things were fine, I think. They won. I mean, they lost the Angels that Sunday, but they had won both series. They were 4-2. And, things seemed fine. The Astros were still 2.5 back or something like that along those lines against Texas. But they were in that second wildcard spot and had a pretty good cushion. It's crazy how quickly things changed in a week. But, yeah, you get killed Saturday. Farnce was, awful. Just let me get you his numbers here to tell you how awful he actually was. Didn't give you length. Boy, he went 5 innings. 10 hits. 6 earned runs. Struck out 5, walked 2. Again, bullpen did their job. Now, Neris wasn't good. Neither was Parker Mashinsky. But at that point, the game was over anyway, so... not really going to blame them a whole lot. And today, you fall down quickly as Hunter Brown stuck up the joint. And yeah, he gave you absolutely 0 length. He gave up 6 runs, I think. And the Astros fought back, but it was too little too late. But Hunter Brown didn't get out of the 3rd inning. 6 earned runs. Walked 2, struck out 5. Stanek. Mashinsky gave up an earned run, but other than that, the bullpen roll call of Kendall Graveman, Rafael Montero, Brian Brady, Ryan Presley all did not allow runs. Stanek's ERA is now creeped back under 4. He's been better of late, I'll say that. Stanek has been better of late. He's not a guy used in high-leverage situations, but he has been better. Montero's been better. ERA still at 5.26, but Montero... gave up 2 hits. He struck out the side. I don't know what to make. Montero doesn't have clean 1, 2, 3 innings, I feel like, but he at least is limiting the runs. And the ERA was at almost 7. I hesitate to give Montero any credit. I don't care to see him in high leverage situations still. But in his role, he has done an okay job. But this is more about the Mariners. And the Astros now, as I give you your standings update, things have dwindled. They are on life support, it feels like. Now, the Rangers, the best thing this weekend is the Rangers got swept. So you're still only 2.5 back of them. But that's not your main focus. Your focus now is looking behind you, where the Mariners, who hold the 3rd wildcard spot by half a game, are a half game back of you. In fact, they've played 1 less game. So, hypothetically, if the Astros were off tomorrow, The Rangers are or not the Rangers. I keep doing that. The Mariners are super hot. They win the game. They're tied with you, and they have the tiebreaker by a mile over you. So they would actually have that second wild card spot. You also have Toronto, who's a game back, but Toronto has the tiebreaker over you as well. So I look at that, and yeah, I look behind us, and well, damn, they're one game out of being out of this thing, out of the playoff picture, which is shocking. But the Astros got to get their, I won't say it. They got to get their stuff together quickly. Lick your wounds, get back out there, and figure out a way to not suck. Is the way I look at it. You got 4 against Boston. You got to take 3 or 4 here. You don't got time to be messing around. Okay, you've lost your leads. You've lost any sort of cushion you thought you might have had in the wild card race, and you're on the brink right now. The Astros in the past have played well when their back's against the wall, but this season's been a roller coaster ride. I mean, it's been I hate this team, I love this team, I hate this team, I love this team. More hate than love. But, you know, I look at the lineup. Alvarez finally got 2 hits today. He had been ice cold. That's Jordan Alvarez. Bregman is still, he's the same Bregman. He hits 240. His numbers, home run-wise, will probably be somewhere in the 20, 25-ish home runs. He'll drive in probably 80 to 90 runs, something in that range, and people will think that things have been great. But I look at the average, and that's not great. And he still hits in the middle of the order, and he takes a lot of pitches, and he argues with the umpire when there's a pitch on the corner, and he's got to do more. It's just plain and simple. He's got to do more. Dusty Baker needs to. He's also an issue in this entire realm of Astros baseball this year. He's an issue because he has his ways that he will never change. But Martin Maldonado should not be playing 4 to 5 days a week. That's outright ridiculous. Yonder Diaz needs to be in this lineup every single day. I'd sacrifice. First of all, Maldi's not even good defensively. So I mean, he gives you nothing. Other than maybe, I guess he does his homework. He does a lot of things we don't see off the field to prepare for games. He doesn't prepare hitting-wise, that's for sure. And he's also very casual and behind the plate with pass balls. I think he leads the league. Can't throw out base runners anymore. Yonder Diaz has proven to be better at that. But it's ridiculous. You need offense right now. You go up and down the line. Abreu's hurt. Singleton's filling in. He's been awful. He had 2 home runs like 2 Saturdays ago. Since that, he's stunk. He's got 1 hit. He's got the 2 home runs and 1 hit. That's it. So he's worse than Abreu. And Abreu's been atrocious this year. I kind of like the fact he went on the IL just so we could get a few, clear his mind of baseball. Let Singleton see if he's got anything, but he's been awful. You go up into the lineup. Tuve's fine. I'm not an issue with him. Pena's been a little bit better. Let's say that. Talked about Bregman. Outfield, Kyle Tucker was out Saturday because he was sick. Today he pinch hit, didn't come through. McCormick is back to who McCormick is, a guy that strikes out a ton, and at the end of the day, he's not a great hitter. Average is still probably pretty decent. I'm just going off what I see. I'm not looking at numbers tonight, but yeah. McCormick is, yeah. And then out left you got, you got some combination. Corey Julks is back up as Greg Kessinger, I think, got sent down because he's in health and safety protocol. Can't believe they still use this phrase, but health and safety protocols. How do they still use that phrase? But Julks is back up. Mashinsky's up because Phil Maton got hurt. I explained this last week as well. But the news Julks is back up, so he plays a little left. Along with Jordan and Michael Brantley. I hate to say this because I still don't trust Brantley at all. But he's played in minor league games. And I have not heard an update. Again, I've been sort of checked out over the weekend. I was away, obviously, in Freeport. So, but Brantley, as far as I know, might be rejoining the team. But I will not believe that until he's actually activated and actually in the lineup. But yeah, be interested to see how they plan to use him. I would assume mainly as a DH. However, I would platoon the left field situation with Brantley and Alvarez sort of splitting time out there. But I think Brantley's bat needs to be in the lineup if he is healthy. Big if he is healthy. But yeah, the Astros, it's just bad right now. It's bad. And you got to get right back at it tomorrow to play Boston for 4. But the starting pitching's an issue right now. Big time. Javier gets the ball tomorrow. No faith there. Absolutely zero faith in Javier. Just like I have zero faith in Framber Valdez. Hunter Brown, any faith I did have, sort of got crushed today. Verlander was terrible his last start, so we'll see what we get there. And J.P. Farnce is just the most consistent best pitcher on the team. And like I said, it's not even close. It's really not. He's been their best pitcher, okay? And the sample size isn't small anymore. He's made about almost 20 starts, I want to say. I mean, he's been on this team for, I'll get you, he started against Seattle back in early May. So May, June, July, August, he's made about 18, 19 starts, I want to say, somewhere in that range. So it's not a small sample size. He goes out there and gets the job done. Whether these strikes out hitters or not, he's their best pitcher. If the Astros make the playoffs, we're going to continue to say that because right now it's a big if. I mean, it's just crazy. You think about a week ago, and I know I brought this up early, but a week ago we talked about this team and things were good. But that's why you play 162 games. Things change quickly, and the Mariners just are playing unbelievable baseball right now, and they don't really, yeah. But yeah, I've talked quite a bit, so I'm going to wrap things up. You got 4 with Boston, 3 with Detroit. Boston's an interesting team. They're still in the hunt. They're not a team. I mean, you're focused on, Seattle and Toronto that are right on your heels right now. Boston's 3.5 back of you. But they're a team, if you can, they swept the Yankees are 60-34. The Angels overtook them by half a game over the weekend. So Yankees are 9 back, and they're basically dead now. But yeah, Boston's still in the mix, and then there's a big drop-off from Boston to L.A., the Angels, who are 8.5 back. So you can really separate yourself from Boston if you can take 3 or 4 would be big. That needs to be the standard, basically, 3 or 4. I mean, it's that simple. Detroit, who actually took 2 or 3 from you early in April, like very early in the season, you owe them at least 2 or 3. That will be in Detroit. And then you continue and you go right to Boston next Monday. Next off day is a week from Thursday. So, anyway, that's what I got for you. But things are very tense, very tight. And, not a whole lot of faith in our starters. Anybody's guess what the lineup will do on any given day. They can go out there, they can score 10 runs, or they can get shut out. So it's very inconsistent. And, yeah, this team disgusts me right now. And I'll end things on that note. And I'll talk to you next Sunday, most likely back at work. I'm trying to see. Yeah, that should be the routine next Sunday at work at some point. So look for me. And I'll get this out. I'll get this going. And Astros, show me you care. Show me fight. Show me you can still show up when your back is against the wall. It's pretty bad right now. But, yeah, we'll wrap things up there. Talk to you next week.